it was initially a village that just got like engulfed by the city as the city spread out. And so a lot of the systems in Khirki still resort to the village atmosphere in terms of documentation. Like the houses are not pakka houses, for example. They're all like unregistered. Most of them are unregistered. And the neighborhood is so mixed. You have refugees here. You have Somalian refugees. You have Afghani women refugees. You have undocumented immigrants also who live here. And most of them have been brought here to build the malls that you see opposite Khirki. The Max Hospital, that huge compound wall, all of that, when they brought in the migrant laborers, those people who built those buildings were all staying in Khirki, right? And when Khoj moved here in 2002, before that Khoj was a workshop for artists who were in the peripheries of the art world.
Where were you situated before this?
We were just we didn't really have a physical space.
Where were you situated before this?
We were just we didn't really have a physical space just yet. But from 1997 to 2002, we were like sort of spaceless. But we used to have these annual workshops at Motinagar, where artists, international artists, Indian artists used to come and try and push their practice. In 2002, we moved here to Khirki, and it took us like literally 3 years to start engaging with the community, because much aware that we're this giant white building in the middle of an area that does look like it's going to fall apart, and it's so cluttered. And so what does that sort of privilege entail? And it comes with a social responsibility that we are accurately aware of. And so when we moved in here, in 3 years, we sort of like planned social engagements and started just talking to people, realized that there were a lot of tensions even within Khirki. Like the Somalians would not talk to the Kashmiris, or the other people were like, they had problems with the African community. Yeah, exactly. And so how did then our artists who we brought in went out to the streets, made art.
So like the lane also is, I can see some of the graffiti work here.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
These are done by the artists.
Yeah, that was one. The graffiti is just one way that people started trying to bring the outer realities into the Khirki atmosphere, so that people will start engaging and discussing it with each other. Like they brought, like when the Vietnam War was happening, and there was a whole debate around that. Like they brought those images here which people had not seen, and then they brought in like Van Gogh to talk about peace, for example, and then they redid shops. They helped like local barbers redo their shops, and they made some art with like just pairs of scissors. And one of the artists did a very interesting project where they set up like a recharge store, and when anybody would come, say for example Kashmiri or Afghani woman comes there to recharge their phone, they would be like, because these points, like the recharge shop was also a place where people would like exchange culture, because they'd be like, bhaiya, if you can put like 2 or 3 Naya songs in my thing, that would be great. So these guys started sharing like Somalian music with the Afghani women. Then the Afghani, like the Somalians were listening to like Bhojpuri music, So the thing is, just to get somebody to listen to each other's culture is an entry point for a conversation to eventually happen. And we're very happy that Khoj was actually the facilitator in this process. We were the mediators to let these two communities talk to each other. And when the African community was sort of attacked even by the local MLA over like allegations of sex work and drug trafficking and stuff like that, Code is again like looking at the tensions of the in the area, you know, what sort of thing has led to this sort of tense atmosphere. And then we had this whole entire project called Coriolis Effect that looked at Indo-African culture, looked at how we learn from each other, what have we taken from the African culture and what have we given back. So we've been doing this since 2005, easily, socially engaged.
So did you choose, like, did coach choose to come to Khirki, or was this, like, what was the reason behind coming to Khirki back then?
Yeah, back then, Khirki was this really dynamic neighborhood which was constantly changing and morphing into, you know, a whole lot of things, and we wanted to be at the epicenter of it. And also, I think this was one of the spaces that were also like open to us even before 2002, before we actually could afford to buy into it. This was like a space that used to be, I think, an architectural studio earlier. And so eventually it was just a matter of we've got to explore this mixed neighborhood, and there's so much possibility and so much potential.
So you chose this, what I am understanding, so the artist could also get something, like they could see some kind of a neighborhood where they could come and explore and show their artwork, or like how is it benefiting the artists, like if like particularly this area?
So I think it's mutual. We don't really think of, like, I think the community benefits as much as the artists do, and that's the whole it's a whole give and take thing, and both of them are constantly learning from each other. So we just wanted to be at a space where the space itself can actually help us do that, and we felt Khirki was perfect in that sense. And the artists, of course, have used that and gained inspiration from a lot of it. And even if you look at Khirki at that point, we realized that it was a sort of a microcosm for a larger, or to talk about a larger sense of urbanization. What are the problems that come with it? You know, what is the politics of it, rather? And we wanted to be at that place where we could bring in social art, initiatives and interventions.
So that's the mission or vision of Coach. Like,
yeah, that's like one of the things that we do is constantly be engaged with society and talk about issues that can border on political, but through artistic expression and interventions. And
so
that's basically it.
So the artwork that you all do here, like we could go around and see. So is it up for sale, or like how does this work? So how is your, if I could ask, the revenue model like?
Oh yeah, so basically we're a non-profit, so we can't really accept, we can't sell tickets, for example, for a show. So we basically rely on donors and funders for our stuff. And most of the artists who are like well known in the field have at some point in their career have gone through Coach. In like either it could be a residency that they do with us, it could be a workshop. So they constantly keep coming back and trying to help out in every little way that they can to help the organization keep going. And we also constantly are applying for funds for our various projects.
So, and I know with the current EA thing going on, and since there are so many refugees living here, how's it going right now? Like, how is the atmosphere here, even in Coach and in the Khirki extension?
Yeah, so as an arts organization, we're not like, we can't go out and do activism work because we're artists at the end of the day. So we're trying to raise our own questions and look at, local narratives, use, mediums. It can be photography, it can be fine art, it can be installation, sculpture. We're looking at different mediums to raise questions, because we really don't have the answers yet, and we're just questioning.
So the things that you just spoke about, so is it limited to within the premises of Forge only, like you are displaying everything here, or are you doing something outside only because people might not come here to just look at it?
Yeah, no, actually a lot of our Khirki neighborhood is aware of our presence and have constantly been comfortable to just walk in. And the present exhibition we're showing actually looks at a timeline from 89 to 2020, and we're looking at, so that's how we are getting involved in the present conversations, is looking at history but with an idea, or like with it sort of fueling of the future, how do we take from history and then.
And you had told me also you had some classes also here, like kids from different
Yeah.
communities come here.
Yeah.
You get some women along as well, help them cook. Like they.
So
can
we
you
have like
share some light on that?
a project called Khana Padoo, which has been going on for over a decade now. In the neighborhood, it's like a food archive sort of thing, where local women are encouraged to meet at a community kitchen and cook together, because it's also a space that they're like comfortable talking and discussing things, and trying to also interact with each other, understanding that our cultures are not so different, although we might look very different from each other. And yeah, so that's one of our projects that's been, and it's now expanded to other areas as well. So yeah.
Yeah, I think that was pretty helpful for us, like understanding Khirki and how Forge functions. So thank you for your time.
Yeah.